Welcome to the Progtalks by the Progspace. Welcome to the Progtalks, an interview series by the Progspace where we will be talking to musicians in all corners of the progressive music scene. Welcome everyone to the Progtalks with Uncle Prog, Rune, once again. This time I have a couple of Dutch musicians with me. It's Hiske and Gert-Jan from Perfect Storm. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi. So nice to have you on the show, you know. Congratulations on your album that was just released. No Air was released on March the 19th, at least. Internationally, it was released on March 19th. So how has the reception been? Are you happy about the feedback you've had so far?
Yeah, I'm more than happy. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you go.
Yeah, the reactions are everyone is very happy about it, and I have could never imagine that the reaction would be so nice. Also reactions from America, from Holland, from England, France. Yeah, it's crazy. Very happy about it. Yeah.
What about you, Hiske? How do you feel about the album now that it's out and people have listened to it?
I feel honored to be part of it. I also like Gert-Jan. I think I didn't expect it to be so well received, and also because it's original music, and you're not yet that known in the scene. So it's like, oh, we're the newbies. So how will it be taken in? And also because it's like there's a bit of jazz in it, there's a bit of pop in it, it's like a mix of stuff combined that grows into like being still like prog. But so yeah, you have like, it's a bit scary to think, oh, what will they think? What will they think of the compositions? What will they think of the lyrics? Everything. So that it's this positively received, it's amazing actually.
Yeah, touching on what you're saying there, I find that interesting because the band seems to have like sprung out of nowhere as a fully formed, very professional sounding band. You know, when I first heard the songs, the first songs that you put out, I was like, have I missed something? Is this like a band that's been going for 10 years that I haven't heard until now or something? And a lot of people have told me that they
seriously?
They think your music is like very mature and professional. Sounds like you have been working on it for a long time. Why do you think that is? Why do you think you managed to achieve that sound?
Well, I think basically because most of we're very.
Shall I do it?
Yeah, you.
It's so crazy about that Zoom WebEx thing. You're very enthusiastic. Okay, but I think we're not very fast satisfied. We're always searching for something that's special, and not when you've got an idea, then you're also you're going to think about it, and maybe it can be better, you know, and just not very not satisfied with the first idea. Just always keep searching for a better idea, and that's take the time. I think that's the key. And also we've got a very good group together.
Yeah,
all the guys from the band have a different background. So Hiske is more jazzy. Adele he's from Syria. And Art, our key player, is more like is from more like classic rock, more like a poppy guy, and I'm more like also jazz fusion, but also rock and metal. So and our bass player and drummer are also they also have a folky and a rock background. So it's quite diverse.
I would say that it is.
Yeah.
And my next question was to be, that dreaded question that you ask any band, for people who are not familiar with Perfect Storm, how would you like describe your music? And I guess you touched a bit on it there with all the different influences. But Gert-Jan, what would you say if you were to describe it to someone who don't know you?
Ooh. Yeah, I think rock music with depth. Not and there's a lot of harmony in it. Not and some changes are not common. How do I describe it?
If I may maybe try a little bit, I think it's melodic. It's
definitely.
It's like it's in a way it's complex music that's easy to listen to, because if you look to the chord structures and etc. from what is all the layers that is in, it's actually built on many layers, and it's so full of things you can hear the next time when you listen to it again. You're like, oh, I didn't notice this before. So there's a lot of
details,
layers and little details that maybe can be new to someone's ear also, or a lot to listen to, but still also because it's very melodic, I think it makes it, what's the word for it? Accessible? Is that the word?
Yeah, that's I agree with that, because it is this kind of music where you can find something there's a catchiness to it the first time you hear it, but it's not like a lot of pop music which becomes repetitive very quickly. It has a lot of details, complexities to it. So I think that is a good description. It's like complex music that's easy to listen to. I like that. Yeah. Or it's a good.
Me too.
I have to ask then, because there was a lot of shopping around and a lot of work that went into it before you guys managed to bring the album out. You signed with Glassville Records, right?
Yeah.
How was that experience of shopping around for a record label as a progressive band? And did you have other interested parties, or how was that whole experience of trying to find somewhere to? Because initially, I think you had decided to self-release. Wasn't that the original idea?
Yeah, but now, it's because of my best friend, Patrick Lamberts. I don't know if you know him. Do you know Patrick?
No, I don't know. Okay. I don't know him.
But he's a musical journalist, and he's very involved. And also he knows Rob from Glassville, and it's not so that we shopped for labels or something. Not really. It's more like I already had two or three songs, and that my friend Patrick came in contact with Rob, and he let the songs here to Rob. So Rob was he liked music, and he liked to hear the whole album. And then when the whole album begin this year was I think last year in December, it was ready. Then he heard the whole album, and then he signed us. So that's the story.
Yeah, so you sort of found your way. Cool. Yeah, it's very cool, and it's nice to see label taking a chance on a new upcoming band, like you guys. Yeah. But of course, the quality of your music sort of speaks to it, that it would be interesting for a label to pick that up. But so for you, it was more finding a label through contacts, really, more than shopping around for it, right?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely, yeah.
So the album was out in Netherlands already in January, right? It was released in the Netherlands, and then it was up until now, before it was up until the end of March before it was out internationally. So why was that staggered release done like that? Was that to do with Glassville as well? Because
Glassville, and also with the CDs. I think there's also another guy from Glassville. His name is Peter, and he's more like all the shops in England, Germany. Then all the CDs have to be there, so they weren't already there. So it's more like a logistic thing.
Yeah.
So when you release in Germany and in January and the CDs aren't there, that's not
a good thing. No.
So it's more like a commercial thing.
And of course, also to do with Brexit and the pandemic and everything. I'm sure they wanted to make sure they had enough time that everything, the pressing and getting it out into stores, like you say, you don't want to have a release date and then nobody can find the CDs. That's not a good start.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Let's go to the beginning. How did Perfect Storm start out? I believe I read somewhere that it was initially an outlet for your musical writings, Gert-Jan. Yeah. So what was the beginning of the project?
Well, 5 years ago, I was really into the music scene, gigging and also playing in the city and in cover bands, and also jamming in fusion bands, jazz bands, funk bands, that kind of stuff. And then I got a job as a sort of account manager, and the thing was I wanted to continue with music.
Yeah.
So that's then I have been writing more in the past before, but I'd like to take it a little bit seriously, So I got my laptop and just begin. Yeah, just begin.
Yeah.
4 years ago, I think, and then after a while, I got 4 or 5 songs or something, just like pre-pros, more demos.
Yeah.
I came in contact with Art. Yeah, Art offers the key player,
the keyboardist,
and then we started. Yeah, then we started to fine tune the songs, and also listen to his input. Putting keys underneath it, and then we found David and Jesse. This we started rehearsing, and we didn't in the project. Then Hiske came in. And then Adele, and then everybody's got input in the songs. The songs are more like my the rough version is from me. Yeah, everyone wants to shoot on it. So in a lot of reviews, there says that the songs are all from me, but it's not
completely 100%
true. The case.
Yeah.
No, it's it's also a band thing. But I have the rough versions,
Yeah. So a lot of the frameworks were already, you had the frameworks for it, and then as a band, so you came into the project quite late in a way, or one of the last ones. Then the 2 vocalists, right? So how did you get recruited into the band, Hiske?
Well, it started that I think we were at a pub here in Groningen, like checking a live gig somewhere.
Yeah.
And I met Gert-Jan, and we started just talking, and he started talking about his music, and that he was thinking about maybe having lyrics to his songs, like vocals.
Yeah.
And he said like, I think, and or I said it, or he said like, don't you write lyrics? And I said, if it's not your thing writing lyrics, then I do it for people or for myself. So anytime you need some help or something, just let me know.
Yeah.
And at some point he sent me a message like, hey, remember lyrics?
Yeah.
So I was like, sure, send me. So he sent me some drafts, and I started like puzzling with it, and he liked it. So then he was like, would you actually like to then write more? So in the first place, it was just my job to just write the lyrics for the songs. And then in the process of finding a male vocalist, because that was the goal, to find a male vocalist.
Yeah.
He also asked me, like, do you know maybe someone? I was like, I'm not sure. So getting in touch, and then eventually we came to Adele. Such a great as you would say in Dutch, like so amazing that we found him. And in the process of recording, we were in the studio. They were recording Adele, and I think the engineer Niels, there were some choir works, and it was like, oh, actually we need some female touch or something. So they were like, Hiske, go into the booth. So then I did that, and then it was like, it works nice, and also the two voices together, the colors of the voices. So then eventually, by doing more and growing more, and also that song No Air came up, and they were like, that asks for a female voice.
Yeah.
Yes.
It became like, do you actually want to be in band? And I was like, hell yeah.
Well, I think you're a fantastic addition to the band. So it's interesting then that you started sort of as a contributor to the vocals, or to the lyrical side of the band, and you got involved that way. So, but when you wrote the lyrics, you listened to you said some like tracks, frameworks, demos, or whatever of the band. Did you then write like some guide vocals, or was it just like lyrics on paper?
No, it was just lyrics on paper.
Yeah,
like scribbles. Like the melody was there already. Sometimes maybe we would change the little details about it, or we would discuss, but the frameworks were there. And I think we just sat down and discussed, like, okay, what would you like the songs to be about? Like, was there a reason why you composed it, or do you have a story behind it that I should follow, or like, what do you want? And then we decided that it would be nice to have sort of an overall theme that is like that the album is, and that every song has like a connection to that theme.
Because it's not a concept album, but there is a theme running through it, which is sort of relationships, right?
Yeah.
So you were writing lyrics based on that, around that theme then, when you decided on and the vocal melodies to those lyrics, they came when you were rehearsing or in the studio, or?
No, the melodies were the melodies were already there. So I put the words on the melodies that were there, and maybe here and there we changed little bits, but I just found the puzzle on something that was already there. Actually, I love it when there's already something created and I need to find the right sounds and right words for the melody. For me, that's almost easier than creating a whole new melody.
I see, yeah. So the name I feel like the name is a great representation of the band, like perfect storm, all these things coming together to make like a perfect, some perfect sounding music. Why did you choose the name, and is there a sort of a meaning behind it that you thought of when you selected it?
Well, I remember we were on the bikes towards we were searching for like who do the artwork, and I think we were biking in Groningen and just discussing. We just here and there always made lists of band names that spoke to us and that we thought like also fits the music. And I think it was one of those bike rides that I think Gert-Jan also mentioned Perfect Storm. And I was like, it's like something. Sometimes there's this name and it just clings to you, like,
It's just fit. How did that appear in your head, Gert-Jan?
Perfect Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I think. Oh man, how I'm going to tell this, but the whole world and the whole life, it's always a storm. It's from your thoughts in your head and all the news and all the all the things all the time, and sometimes it's perfect, and then all the things come to their place, and you create a cool song, or a cool melody, or a cool lick, or a riff, or a chord, and that all comes together in this band, I think.
Yeah, well, but I also like that fits to it, or how it's... Sorry for the interruption. They go on. No, what I wanted to add, like, for example, how it also speaks to me is that because we all have such different backgrounds, you could see it as a storm, like we are the storm. But when we are together, when we play together, when we compose together and create, it becomes something that's united and becomes something perfect. So that's for me also what spoke to me in the name.
That's something that why I also felt that the name was so fitting, that there are so many diverse influences into your music, from straight up classic rock to jazz fusion to there's some like metal elements and some more pure prog rock elements, but everything fits like perfectly into this, coming in to make this perfect storm. So I think it is a very fitting name, and I just wanted to ask why that was chosen in that way. So, well, you already talked a bit about the early, days of you starting to make this music. And you said it was 5 years ago or something when you started making these the tracks for the album. Is that right?
Yeah, I think 4 years.
Yeah. So I'm wondering then if you are moving on now and with the band, and I'm guessing you guys are working on creating new music together, since the first album was so based on your input and your frameworks. Can we expect something different this time? Is the rest of the band more involved, or with the
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the concept is until now it's the same. I'm just jamming around and just recording pre-pros and just fired it to the band, I don't know. I think everyone is more involved now because of the reactions, because in the beginning you have to convince everybody. So everybody has to take the time and spend the time in it. But now I think because of the reaction, also because of all this like interviews and this kind of stuff, I think the process will be faster.
Yeah.
Because also we work with Niels Voskuil. I don't know if you heard of him. Richard Hellebeek. You know Richard Hellebeek from Holland?
No, I know about Niels. I've heard his name. So is he doing the?
But he's a producer mixer.
Yeah. He's working with you in the studio.
Because that's the thing. You have to, although in the 4 years, you have to make a team. You have to create a team, and now we've got that team, and we know everybody's strengths and everybody's what qualities. Exactly. And also with Niels, it's also very nice to work with him. He's a very musical guy, very good mixer, very good ear, and I think the process will be a little bit the same. That I come up with the demos, and then we have to to play it through, see what works, see what not works, and then But I think in 4 years, I don't know, 4 years, I think the new album will be a little bit
quicker,
earlier.
Well, we already had the first.
Has to be,
we already had the first session. Like, come on, let's make some melodies. So
well, I'm guessing that what you said about in this period now, when you have so many good messages, so much good feedback on the album, that must be an inspiration, right, for going forward and creating more music. And
definitely.
If you are enjoying this interview, please head over to theprogspace.com for more reviews, articles, pictures and interviews all about progressive music. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. theprogspace.com. So I want to return a little bit to the theme of the album and the lyrical content. Inspiration-wise, you said that you also have been, writing lyrics for other projects and other things. What are your inspirations for writing lyrics, and what was the inspirations for the lyrics on Nowhere?
Oh, where do I find my inspiration? In the world? In the air? No, it's just like, of course, I've listened a lot to music, so you hear interesting things or interesting words, or maybe you read a book or something else and you find a sentence that's interesting. So you gather, or sometimes I like to find for one meaning, I find just many different types of words for the same, that have sort of the same meaning. So how can you say something in many so I try, I always make like lists and little databases or something that you can put out. And the same for rhymes, like, okay, what can this all rhyme to? Like what's the direct rhyme? What's the sort of rhymes, like not literally, but what still works? Work with sounds and words. And for this album, when we got the overall theme and we put like sort of the topics or the titles to the songs, okay, what should this song be about? What should this song? Then I just start to make basically lists for myself. What fits this topic, and what are sentences that fit this? Like not even yet thinking of the melody, but just things that come to mind, or for example, memories or stories that I have that I can recall from my own experience. What does this bring up?
Interesting. So you're quite systematic then when you write, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes something just pops up. That also happens sometimes. But I like to do a little bit of research, or I like to just see what I can find. And then aside from that, I just listen to it, goes on repeat, basically, the song, just to get the whole vibe in my brain and in my system. And I also feel a lot of times I start phonetically singing. So I just sing random words, whatever, and see what kind of sounds or vowels would fit the specific notes.
Yes. So
I feel like, okay, this type of sound needs to be here. And then I see what kind of words can I find. So then slowly the puzzle comes to...
So you're sort of creating an environment for yourself to be creative in with this, And the same question to you then, Gert-Jan. How is your writing process when you write new music? What inspires you? How do you work to put down new ideas?
Well, I'm very creative and just writing new music. So what I do is I'm sitting on the couch, and mostly and just with my guitar playing cool chords. And when I'm inspired, then it can be every moment, even when I walk into the supermarket finding broccoli or something, then it pops up. Broccoli. Yeah, we must write a song about broccoli, I think.
Yeah, but I'm waiting for the next no
the
broccoli.
New album is about broccoli.
Oh.
But yeah, just it just pops up in my mind or something. I heard something. And then I pick my phone. I try to remember the melody. I pick my phone and just sing it in or play it in. My girlfriend sometimes gets crazy about me. She thinks I'm crazy. But yeah.
Standing in the middle of the supermarket, singing into your phone.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes, but, then I've got all that stuff on my phone, and then I'm going to my home studio and then record it on Logic, with my guitar setup and just making demos. That's the whole thing. And always trying to find something creative, something with depth, with atmosphere, something original.
Yeah.
Never satisfied with the first idea, and then the band gets to shoot on it.
I talk to so many musicians, and there are like as many different ways to write music as there are people, but you sort of can put some into the camp where they write like 100 ideas and then they throw out most of them, and then you have some people that write some ideas and then they work and work and work on those ideas and forming them into something they like. So would you put yourself in one or the other camp? Do you write a lot of music that you throw away, or do you work a lot on what you
work a lot? When I have a cool idea, then I know it's cool, you know. I feel it, and then I can then you know, when sometimes you have something, then I just work around that, and then I try something else, and then try to fit it in. And that kind of stuff, not throw a lot of away.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of the demos are the most of the stuff we didn't throw a lot of away. I think so. Yes.
Yeah. Well.
No. Yeah. I think maybe they evolved. Right? Yeah, they evolved.
Yeah, that's
of course. So in a way, it changed, but at least from the songs that I know from our project, like not so. No, I don't think much was thrown out.
No,
just little adaptations and
it's reformed and reshaped until you get it the way you want. Yeah. So I want to go a bit, even further back and talk about where you guys started out. How did you start playing the guitar? What sort of started you singing, Hiske? What is your introduction to music? What made you want to be a musician? A lot of people I talk to are saying stuff like, I heard this album or I went to this concert and it showed me, I want to be like Richie Blackmore or whatever. Do you have something like that in your past, or how did you start with music, Hiske?
Well, I mean, for us it was always in the family, but I never wanted to become like a professional musician. I wanted to be an animal doctor, or how to say.
Oh, veterinarian.
Veterinarian specialized in horses. Didn't happen. So that's completely something else. But I was always interested in just culture or had fun. I also grew up a bit more with theater than really with singing.
Yeah.
So I always did that aside, like little projects, and enjoyed it. It was more that at some point, a very good friend of mine said, like, you should like sing something, like just do something or join the music class, because I think you had to choose like a profile in school, and you could choose between several subjects, and I was like, So then I was like, music, it's fun. I go with music because I enjoy it anyways, aside, like just for fun. And I also enjoyed singing in my bedroom just for myself. And then at some point, I think there was like a vocalist that was basically the vocalist of the class and of the school projects. And she was a bit sick, but we had a rehearsal for something. So the teacher was like, "Who could sing this now? Because we
need to, yeah."
And so I was like, I can try, like this. And from that, it just started to grow, because then two of my best friends were like, okay, let's form a band. So then a little band started, and then it just slowly grew. And I still didn't plan on really becoming a musician, but then somehow I ended up at the conservatory, and I got notice of the jazz department there, because I was in the teaching department, becoming a teacher. And I saw it and I was like, what those guys do there, that's so interesting, and the skills. And then I got so interested in just the voice, and what if you practice a little bit and work on your technique, the options you create for yourself in sound and colors and flexibility. So then at some point just this knot went on, and I asked my teacher then back in the day, do you think I could do that? And she was like, yeah, but you need to practice.
Yes.
And then I just started practicing my ass off, and the rest is history, you could say.
What about you, Gert-Jan? How did you start out? When did you pick up the guitar, and what is your musical background?
Well, my parents put me on guitar lesson when I was 7 or 8 years old, and I think when I started really playing was when I was 12 or 11. Then I heard Nirvana, Nevermind, and from that point I was really, really inspired about the whole rock guitar thing. And then I practiced my ass off whole days, just practicing. That was at the time that there weren't iPhones around, so you
not a
just
lot of
playing
distraction.
guitar whole day. That's the thing. And then I was into Pantera. You know that band, of course. Yeah. Pantera, Dream Theater, and after that I started listening to jazz, and also started to take jazz lessons from a guy from Groningen. And then I came into jazz fusion and Steven Wilson and that kind of guys, the more proggy. And also Allan Holdsworth is also a very big influence on me. Scott Henderson. Yeah, Allan Holdsworth is one of it's crazy good. And Pat Metheny and the more like the rock thing, but also the jazz thing. That's my background story. It started with the Beatles. Yes. I listened to a lot of Beatles when I was a child.
Yeah, so both for you and with rock and pop music in general, then it sort of started with the Beatles, at least that part of the music which we all enjoy, And once you start going down the rabbit hole of prog and fusion, and it's like never ending. There's just so much good music to discover. Were you ever involved with other bands or other projects, or are you currently involved with other bands or projects, Hiske?
Well,
you mentioned a band, of course, but...
Yeah, I've been in several bands, projects. I toured quite a lot also abroad, made several albums with different projects, but at the moment I'm next to Perfect Storm. I have my own Frisian project. So it's in my second mother tongue. Of course, there's Dutch, but we also have Frisian.
Yeah.
And I have a project that it's all evolved about a poet from the 17th century. So I've used poetry of him, his work, and put it to new contemporary music. I also wrote and composed new music or write lyrics basically inspired by his work.
I see.
So it's like to give also my you can steentje. That's like to contribute to the culture, basically the Frisian culture and the heritage and the history that is there, and especially the language. I love language. I also had a French project. Like I sang in French. I like language and colors and sounds, and a lot of times like smaller languages, for example, minority languages, they have like this richness to it, and you should invest in it. Will you preserve it? And what I found in this poetry, it's like a lot of the words or some of the colors that are in that you don't hear nowadays anymore, because it's of course evolved and modernized, and it's here and there sometimes already some Dutchiness comes in it or English. Which is, of course, normal. And it's also good that it evolves. But then I'm like, ooh, let's not forget this beauty that we have here,
Yeah, exactly.
So I wanted to
What's the name of this project or this band that you are doing the Frisian?
Well, the project now, how we call the whole thing it's Tijdgenoten. Yeah, of course you don't understand what I'm saying.
Mean anything to me.
In Dutch, it's Tijdgenoten, so it means like how to translate that, Tijdgenoten. Like you become one at the same time. Like even though he's from 400 years ago and I'm here, you get together in sort of the same time just through music.
I see.
And the album that will come out in the end of May. If I translate it to English, it's called Words, because it's all about language, words.
Exactly.
This stuff, and I just use my name.
They can find you on Hiske Oosterwijk. right?
Yeah. My website is under construction, basically, but of course you can find me on Spotify. And
sounds interesting. I'll make sure to put some links here so people can get more into that. What about you, Gert-Jan? Is Perfect Storm, is that all encompassing now, or do you work with music outside of that as well?
Yeah, I'm just in a sort of jam band where we play fusion tracks just to keep the improvising on a decent level, and just fooling around with friends of mine. Just just records funny stuff. Not so seriously like Perfect Storm.
No, I see.
Sometimes you just go to the studio and just record and see what happens. And sometimes they're coming beauties, but sometimes it's complete crap.
Well, that's how it.
But we can play now, eh? That's the thing. We can play. We're just inside.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's another discussion, but
it is. And I wanted to touch a little bit on that because I wanted, of course, to ask about your upcoming plans for Perfect Storm. Because I'm sure you would have loved to be able to take this music out to people and perform it, or was that the plan originally to be able to perform Perfect Storm's music live?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we also rehearsed a couple of times with the band in the rehearsing room. But yeah, I think we're going to play after the summer. We talked about with Glassville about this, and. The thing is, all the festivals, it's a little bit uncertain. I talked with Arten and me talked with Rob from Glassville about this, but all the festivals are a little bit uncertain.
Yeah,
but we're planning to do a show in Groningen, a release show in the AM2. It's a cool venue in Groningen. But that will be in October or September or something. Exactly. When we know that all the vaccines are there, and all that crap. Yeah.
So you put it in late in the autumn when you know that the chances are big that this can actually happen now, right? So What about writing new music? Are you how far are you into the process of writing music for a new album?
Yeah, 2 songs, I think. Two songs.
Well, I think we worked on one together already, and you sent me a new snippet of something like a few days ago, and then I think you said something like, "I have 2 more on the shelf" or something So stuff is brewing.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Good. Yeah, I'm looking very much forward to hearing even more music from you guys.
Cool.
And also quite recently you released a video for one of the tracks. My favorite track of the album, really, Strength.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I have to say, that it was very professionally done. How was it recording a video?
Oh, awesome.
Super. Yeah.
First of all, because we hadn't basically seen each other like real, or just basically sort of pretend to be playing live, but actually we were actually playing also with the track like live with it, because we wanted to have it like just do what we do, and this just feeling of the energy and just creating something again like together and do some work and having amazing crew and amazing lady to film, Heta. It was awesome.
Yeah, but it's so funny because Heta, she lives in my street. She lives in my street in Groningen. So we never talked to each other. We knew who we were, but we never talked to each other. She's also in a band, Town of Saints. I don't know if you know that band, but it's more like a folky kind of band. But she's very professional. Yeah.
And the video looks
very
amazing.
Very professional, good to work with. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
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 I have to say, you guys were also, especially, I feel like I saw you, Gert-Jan, promoting and reaching out a lot through like social media and stuff in preparation for releasing the album. How would you, there are lots of tools you can use now through social media and of course the progressive music community. What have you learned during this process of promoting the album? Like, what are the challenges and what are the good things about using social media to get your music out there?
Ooh, social media.
Hot topic.
Yeah, I have a little bit of hate-love relationship with that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have the feeling you create something really, really cool and put a lot of work in it, with the whole band. And then nobody reacts, but they react to a cat who eats his own shit, that's more like, This more the funny stuff or the crappy stuff or a girl who shows her her boobies or something.
Or something very short
an
and
epic, a song from 8 minutes,
No, that's the thing.
Sometimes
as well,
it's a little bit encouraging.
It can be, but you guys seem to have worked very hard on it and pushing it out there. Even though, like you say, it can be disencouraging when you don't get a lot of feedback, you guys kept going with it. And I feel like you made an impact in the progressive rock community. More and more people were talking about your music and everything. So do you feel like all that work you put into it has paid off?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But it's also, even though...
Also,
Do I talk? Okay.
Yeah, go Hiske.
Not all together.
Yeah.
No, I think because it's like what Gert-Jan also says, like it's such a huge pile of so much that is to be found on the socials, and there's a lot of crap, but there's also the good stuff. So you also disappear quickly in the pond, basically, or the sea of everything. But it's also a good thing that it's there because you can reach a big audience like quickly than if you would have to spread your flyers and that type of stuff. So it's like a good tool that is there. It can be tiring, but I think also what I think that we did good was that we just continue, post, be positive, and repeat like in a regular basis, and then slowly we saw it grow.
Mm. And then find your way into the groups of forums and groups and radio stations and websites and everything, where the people who are actually interested in this
they will find you eventually
more than the cat licking their asshole or whatever.
But Rune, what the thing is, when you also see so much music, that's crazy. If you also watch to the Progspace, there's every week there are a couple of bands who are coming out with an album, So there's you're one of many.
It's much more than that. We can't cover half of it. From what we get sent, and that's also something. I discovered your band first. I think I got in touch with you because I asked if you would be interested in being played on the Prog Files, my radio show. And there also I see there's just so many bands bringing out good music, and I think, like you guys said, you have to be persistent at it. You have to keep it up and just keep working on it. You guys are Dutch, and the Netherlands, like we touched on, is like a hotbed for progressive music. Do you think it helps you guys to be a Dutch band?
Why does it help?
No, I'm saying, the Netherlands has a big progressive music community with a lot of festival gigs and all that stuff. And so does it help you guys to be a Dutch band in
I
don't know.
To find musicians to be able to play live, maybe?
I think that's something for us to discover when the live stuff happens again.
Of course,
if we get picked up, because now nothing happens. I have to say, I'm completely new to the prog scene, so I had no clue that maybe it's a big scene happening in the Netherlands. I know in some other countries it's quite big, but apparently the Netherlands is part of it.
Yeah, the Netherlands is.
But if that would help us out, basically, I think we will really notice it also when maybe more stuff is happening again, like live playing, and if it would support us in getting gigs, etc.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up on 50 minutes, and I think that's a good way to end it, with the hope that things will, improve. That during the end of this year, we will have a chance to see you guys live, and you will get the chance to go on stage, do some festivals, and of course, some more music from you guys. So to you who are watching, check out Perfect Storm on Facebook, on Bandcamp, buy their music. It's definitely worth it. And it's also available on streaming, Spotify, all kinds of places. And while you're at it, give us at the Progspace a like and a subscription. And, that helps us a lot. So, but thank you, guys. Thank you, Gert-Jan. Thank you, Hiske, for being on the Progtalks with me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you.
The Progtalks, produced by the Progspace. Main host, Rune Belsvik Reinås. Produced by Rune Belsvik Reinås, Vanessa and Matthias Kirsch. All graphics and animations by Vanessa Kirsch. Intro theme by Giuseppe Negri. Outro theme by Zach Munowitz. This was the Progtalks by the Progspace. See you in a week.